Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you again for joining us today for another Scytec DataXchange webinar. The topic of today's monthly webinar is going to focus on the deployment types for Scytec DataXchange and the advantages of each of them for manufacturers like yourselves. First, I would like to go over the order of events for today's webinar, and we are going to be discussing three different deployment types, the first of which is on-premise, as well as the most common commercial cloud, followed by DataXchange Secure Cloud, which is hosted on the AWS GovCloud, which is our newest offering, as well as the security features and regulatory compliance for each of the deployment types, the use cases for manufacturers like yourselves, and then finally, the Factory Go trial device. So the first up that we are going to discuss is the on-premise deployment type. The on-premise deployment type can basically be summed up as a deployment type for Scytec DataXchange machine monitoring, where the data that is collected and stored off of your machines will not leave your physical production environment. And the way that this happens is that the server for the data hosting is done inside your own production environment, and you will need to provide your own web and SQL server. Uh, this is a little bit different pricing model from our more common commercial cloud in that it is done up front, it is a little bit more money, and that it also requires annual maintenance, which is kind of typical for something like this in the manufacturing industry. The implementation is really the same as the commercial cloud, but you are doing all the hosting yourself. And, most importantly, this couldn't be honed in enough that the data does not leave your premise and everything is kept in your own physical environment. Now, the use cases for this for manufacturers like yourselves is this is very commonly mandated by contracted government work inside of the defense industry, and that this could also be that your own facility IT department requires an air gap. So that the sensitive data is not exposed to the outside world, the internet, the data does not leave your facility, and that there is no connection to anything outside of your facility as well. So the on-premise is definitely for those who are very concerned about any kind of security risks for any of the stored data that is coming off of your machines. Next, we are going to discuss the more typical for our client-based commercial cloud. But before we get into that, I'd kind of like to discuss, what has been historically the big apprehension to cloud storage, and that is the security risk of, getting your stuff hacked. Cloud storage, however, has become more and more accepted in the last few years by manufacturers. And usually, for something like this to happen, is that a precedent needs to be set. You guys need to see that a a colleague or another industry professional has taken the jump and then stuck the landing. And last year, that happened with Lockheed Martin, who has typically kept everything on premise. They announced a partnership with Microsoft for cloud storage with their own classified cloud for the sensitive data that is pulled off of really anything related to the contractual stuff that they do with governments. So going into commercial cloud, uh, the Scytec DataXchange commercial cloud servers are hosted by an offsite industry professional. The implementation for commercial cloud is very quick and painless. There is low overhead compared to the on-premise. To get going, if you have been on a trial with us, you can just very easily get your connected machinery just on the commercial cloud going extremely quick. We have people that are set up and collecting data in under a half an hour. And you don't need to worry about your own hardware on this. There's no server required, no SQL license required. And that what's great about ITAR or commercial cloud is that everything is ITAR compliant and that all of the data that is being stored inside of the cloud is unable to be reverse engineered. Now, use cases for manufacturers for the commercial cloud and data exchange are for clients wanting on-premise, but a little apprehensive about the upfront costs and everything like that. That smart factory technology is still kind of new in the world of manufacturing, and uh, you know people want to see things kind of proven out first. So the upfront cost is not there. What is really nice about commercial cloud is that we offer month-to-month pricing or 1 to 2 year terms that are annually booked. Uh, the pricing for machines start off at $47 a machine on our bronze licensing level for the month-to-month stuff. And internally, we kind of look at this like we want to earn your business every month. We want you to see the value in Scytec Data Exchange. And once again, that what's nice about this is that you guys can kind of do the initial testing, see that this can be a valuable product for your shop floor environments. And then when you see that things are working smoothly, then you can move back into an on-premise install. Next up, we are going to discuss the most recent DataXchange Secure Cloud. And the Scytec DataXchange Secure Cloud was first introduced this last May as an option for manufacturers. Scytec DataXchange Secure Cloud is hosted by AWS GovCloud, that is Amazon Web Services. And the differences between this and the commercial cloud is that data is encrypted at all stages of transmission in both rest and in motion. Um, Really what this is great for is that it satisfies the most stringent of regulations coming from the ITAR, FedRAMP, Department of Defense, and EAR regulations, as well as data sovereignty. And for those of you that are unsure of what data sovereignty is, basically it can be summed up as where your servers are is that uh, they have to abide by the regulations for that country, and the Amazon Web Service servers are hosted here on US soil, and they are operated on by US citizens. Now, this is going to be something that is very beneficial for those of you that are utilizing the data exchange integration with CG Tech Vericut called CNC Machine Connect. We had our initial offering of this in June of 2022, and this last release in Vericut 9.4, we had a updated live streaming feature called CNC Machine Monitoring. The first feature that came out was called Pre-Check, and in the future Vericut release, we are going to have a feature called Post Check that is going to be very beneficial for this new cloud offering, Data Exchange Secure Cloud. So, a couple other cool things about Data Exchange Secure Cloud that I like to go over is that access logging is available as well for full transparency, and that granular permissions are available for all functionalities. And once again, the best use case for this can be manufacturers looking to abide by the most stringent of all of ITAR compliances and other government regulations for data storage. Now, for those of you that joined us last month, we had a licensing level webinar that you can find online as well as the Scytec website. But one of the things that I covered in that is that the security features are the same for each license level, and that also includes each deployment type. For the cloud storage, in terms of the outside world, uh, all of the data is encrypted via secured socket layer encryption. And then even for your own internal worries, that we offer group level permissions and menu level permissions so that certain employment levels can only access certain data exchange features if you deem necessary. Finally, I'd like to go over another recent offering that we have, which is our trial deployment, which is called the Factory Go. The Go and Factory Go stands for Get Online, and this is for our trial customers that are, really just kind of looking to get started with machine monitoring in the most painless way possible. Factory Go is a shippable mobile trial device that is refundable at the end of your trial, which can go anywhere from 1 month to 2 months, depending on how things are going. And really, it's, to kind of take away any of the barriers of entry that, you're looking to get started with machine monitoring, but you're not wanting to, go out and run a bunch of Ethernet cables out to your shop floor equipment. And this is, the most painless way for you guys to get set up with machine monitoring. And we want to assure that you guys have success with that. So we send you this thing. You can get up connected wirelessly for data transmission to start looking at the useful charts and dashboards that are provided via Scytec DataXchange to get metrics on how your shop floor performance is going.